Being depressed as a 17-year-old was one of the best things that ever happened to me, I think, looking back, in hindsight. This isn't to glorify depression, but today we're going to be talking about this line from a Lumineers song you might have heard, Stubborn Love by the Lumineers, and they say, it's better to feel pain than nothing at all. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all. You know that song? The opposite of love's indifference. This was also a very prevalent theme in the movie Call Me By Your Name, / the book, probably. I don't know, I didn't read the book. But you know at the end of the movie, when Elio's talking to his dad, Timothy Chalamet's talking to his dad at the end of the movie Call Me By Your Name, and he's like heartbroken, and his dad tells him a few different things. He gives him this big long monologue and speech about being a happy person, and really, I'm just gonna read the quote. We rip out so much of ourselves to be cured of things faster that we go bankrupt by the age of 30 and have less to give. I didn't write down the rest, but and have less to give whoever we love next or something. There's this thing people do when things are hard. Right? They sort of numb themselves out and they don't let themselves feel anything so as to avoid feeling bad. And that becomes a defense mechanism that they carry throughout their lives. Throughout their lives. Another thing he said, which very, very much sums it up. Right now there's sorrow, pain. Don't kill it. And with it, the joy you felt. You cannot feel good unless you know what it's like to feel bad, is the premise. When I was 17, I wanted to do nothing. I was miserable. Was I 17? 17 to 19, probably. I think it started when I was 17, and I got out of it when I was like 19. And I think that was like the best thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know exactly why or what was going on that I was so upset about. It was a combination of things. Like, for example, I really wanted the like college experience of going to a cool school for my bachelor's and like, you know, making friends and living in a freshman dorm and like just like this experience of moving away when you're 18. I really wanted that, and then I ended up going to a school near my house and still living at home. And so that was always weighing on me. That weighed on me really hard for some reason. I took that bad because I feel like I'd grown up in America where that's like very glorified, like especially in the movies, it's romanticized a lot. So I really wanted that. So I didn't have that. I was upset about that. I was just kind of being a baby about things, which is what you do when you're a hormonal teenager. When you're sad for a long time, a few things happen. Firstly, you discover what you don't like instantly because you're sad for a reason, and you're like, man, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks, this sucks. And in understanding what sucks, you begin to understand what doesn't suck to you, what you like, what your preferences are, how things could be better. What in a perfect world, how could you be in a better, happier state right now? You think about that stuff. And because you think about that stuff, you're able to make decisions in your life to try to get towards those things. But the problem is when people get sad and depressed, they don't want to do anything because it's easier to just do nothing at all and feel nothing at all. But it's better to feel pain than nothing at all, because when you're feeling pain, at least you're like, oh my God, I'm feeling something. I need to stop feeling it. You make an effort naturally to get out of that. It's like a instinctual thing. It's like if you put your hand on a hot stove, instinctually you pull it away. It's better to feel pain than nothing at all, because the alternative is you keep your hand there on that burning stove, and it doesn't work. You're just gonna burn your flesh off. You gotta get out of there. So you discover what you don't like, certain people, places, activities, things that make you generally unhappier, less happy, things that make you less happy. But then you make an effort to find people that treat you well, activities you enjoy doing that bring you fulfillment when you do, you know, places to go to frequent that make you feel satisfied with the time you spent there. So I think everyone should go through like a little depression arc, you know, because for me that helped me discover like everything about myself during that time. I figured out how I like to dress. I figured out what I like to do. I figured out who in my life was good for me, who in my life was bad for me, what kinds of friends I wanted. I figured out so much about myself, and I found a purpose, which is making these videos. I discovered, because I was so miserable, I was like, let me do something to get out of this. I started my YouTube channel I'd been thinking about doing for so long, and I was like, oh, I felt better after doing that. Let me just do that again, again and again. And then I found this outlet, and now this is my thing. You know, I found my entire identity because I was depressed as a teenager. Sip of an energy drink. Got this for 45 cents. So good. All right. So when you're sad, you discover what you don't like, what you do like, and then best case scenario, you find what you do like and you latch onto that and you pull yourself out. On the other hand, numbing things out feels safer. It's so much easier to just like sit in bed under your blanket and binge watch movies and TV shows and watch The Office for the 12th time and either eat a lot or eat nothing. When I was depressed, I had like a really bad eating disorder. I was like anorexic, and I would like, if I ate, I'd feel like so guilty about it. Sometimes I'd go and throw it up. It was like a whole thing. I could probably make an entire episode on anorexia, bulimia, eating disorders in general. Let me know if you guys want that. It was weird, and I didn't know how to like talk about that to anybody, which like nobody really likes to talk about, but I feel like especially as a guy, it's weird. Usually it's like a girl is like anorexic and wants to be skinnier, but I was doing it at 17. I was like Bella Hadid for real, bro. I was so skinny. So skinny, oh my God. I was like Timothy Chalamet for real. And when you're just doing that to yourself and you're just sitting there day after day doing nothing but like making things harder on yourself, you're not helping anyone. You're not helping yourself. It's not helping anything. It's just making you feel worse about yourself for doing nothing to try and get out of this feeling. You have to make an effort, is what I found eventually after 2 years. I was like, I have to do something to feel better. And I have videos about this if you're interested. I have a video on my YouTube channel talking about breaking down like reasons you're not actually depressed and how to get out of it. It's called Why You're Not Actually Depressed. So my regular YouTube. But a couple strategies they talked about there is for pulling yourself out of a pit, if you feel like you're in one, is to find things you enjoy doing and force yourself, no matter how bad you don't want to go out and do those things. And what I've found from talking to people and in my own experience, if you're not sure what to go out and do and you don't like anything and you hate everything, think about what you enjoyed doing as a kid and go off of that. Try to think of stuff you went out and did as a kid when you were young and innocent and try to get back into those things. Whether it's playing with Pokemon cards, collecting Beyblades, reading Harry Potter. Talking about things I did. Making videos in the basement with your cousin. That's me. Making Spider-Man movies in the basement with your cousin and getting a ball of string and throwing it out like a spider web, like I'm webbing something, and then cutting the clip right as it reaches the point, the end of the string reaches like the climax of its throw, so it doesn't look like it fell to the ground after. So it looks like you swung. Go and do that. Go outside. Go outside in nature. That always helps. Just try as many new things as you can, and if you can't think of things, you just have to wait for opportunities to come. Or just go out and do anything, honestly. You just have to go out and do anything. And when people, hey, you want to come do this? When people are like, yo, come do this with us. You want to come do this? And you've never tried it? Say yes to as many things as possible. You should say yes to as many things as possible. And like really try to give it a chance. Don't just be waiting to go back home. Say yes to as many things as possible, as long as it's like with the right people. Because a lot of times you emulate the people around you. And if you're depressed, you're in a bad mental state, it's probably because someone you're close to is also like that, and you guys kind of fuel each other. You guys feed off each other doing that. So there's ways out, okay? But I think it's important to get in to really grow. And I'm not glorifying depression. I understand it's a very serious topic and it's very hard. But I feel like we in our minds, especially if you're currently going through it, you shouldn't try to get depressed just to grow. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if you are currently in that state or you were in the past, if you are currently in that state, you need to understand that once you get out of it, you can recognize there are some unexpected benefits. And if you were in that state in the past, look back at like all the things you learned. Like how did you get out of there? You have to have grown as a person to have improved your life the way you have. If you're not depressed, you used to be. You know? Maybe you went to therapy. Maybe you started going outside more. You made new friends. You made better friends. You started enjoying, like, finding a new hobby. Like, look at what you did to get out of there and understand that pain is a teacher, not an enemy. I could talk about this for a while. Maybe you started journaling. My journal is like super depressing. If you read through my journal, it's just all the bad moments mostly, with a couple like random ones where I forced myself to journal in a good mood just because I felt like my journal is so depressing. But it helps. It's because when you're sad, you have all these thoughts, you want to get them out. You just write it down. You spend 45 minutes writing, and afterwards you feel like, okay, I put that feeling into words, and I know how I'm feeling now because I had to articulate sentences onto this page. You know, I had to dump my brain out on a page, you know? And the depression can feel so heavy because you know you're feeling bad, but you can't even explain it. So when you're forced to just sit and explain it to yourself in writing, it helps like so much just to get it out there to no one, but to you, to yourself. Internally, you understand what it is you're going through, why you feel this way. And once you have established the problem, you can start to think about solutions. But while you're just sitting there like, man, this sucks, but I can't really put my finger on what's sucking. You need a journal. Journaling is like, I would say, the best thing you can do if you're depressed. Or go to therapy. If you got money like that, then you got to articulate it to someone else, which can be harder. I don't know. I've never done therapy, but I'd imagine I've always wanted to, but like I think it's super expensive. I don't know. I feel like journaling is free therapy. That's my 2 cents on that. But yeah, let me know if you want an eating disorder episode. Do you have to put trigger warnings on stuff like that? I feel like people are so dramatic about trigger warnings. Like, you're telling me if someone says the word eating disorder without putting TW in parentheses after, they're like, people would actually get triggered. Do people actually get triggered from things like that? Like, oh my God, the word was too much. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it sounds like I'm making fun of those kinds of people, but I genuinely don't understand. Like, I feel like, especially if you're going through it, it's easy to talk about it. You might get awkward about it if you have no idea how to relate to someone who's gone through it, and you've never gone through that, but like, and you don't know what to say. But I feel like if you've gone through it or are currently going through it, it's not really like difficult. Or what else? What other things do people put trigger warning on? Like maybe like suicide. People talk about suicide and put like a trigger warning. Or like sewer slide. They'll type it out as sewer slide on TikTok. Or like, I don't know, you know what I mean? I feel like they're important topics. You have to talk about them. You can't just like, whoa. That's my stance on why it's better to feel pain than nothing at all. Because feeling anything is to be alive. Like anything else in this world. Like a plant. And a plant requires nutrients, it requires sustenance, it requires sunlight, water, space to grow. To grow, you need to put the effort into letting your plant grow. You are a plant. You're a little sunflower or a watermelon seed or a cherry tree. Do cherries grow on trees? Cherry tree? I think cherries grow on trees. They do, because I had cherry plum. I'm like 90% sure they grow on trees. If someone could answer that in the comments, and just let me know if you've gone through this, what I'm talking about. If you agree, if you completely disagree, because this is mostly like speculative. You know, I'm reflecting on my own experiences and the experiences of people I've talked to, and I'm trying to turn it into a cohesive argument. You know, it's better to feel pain than nothing at all, because at least then you experience those emotions and you learn from them and you move on from them and you're better for it. And now we're on to everybody's favorite segment, the advice column. What should we call this segment? I feel like we need a name for this part of the pod. This is where I take your guys' questions and things and we go through them together and I answer what I can, however I can. Today we have, I think, 7 questions. Dear Diary, I'm going through a big transition period in my life. I'm about to turn 18 and go to college next year, and I've noticed that my mentality has also transitioned. The bad part is I'm leaving some things behind in my life. Last year I met my friend and we got really close over the summer, like hanging out every day, and we both have precious memorabilia together, but lately it has changed. I just don't like her anymore. The way she talks, the way she acts, the way she is around me, I know I'm completely out of line and I know I'm in the wrong, but I don't know how to tell her that I don't want to be friends with her because nothing changed in her, just me. I need advice on what I need to do. I've already waited 2 weeks just to see if it was a phase and it would go back to normal, but nothing has changed. When I first read this message, I was like, fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch. You don't need to drop her. And then I was thinking a little more. Now I'm thinking a little more. And I'm like, okay, you're about to turn 18 and go to college. You've only known each other a year, which, I don't know, maybe sometimes it seems like a long time. Yeah, that does seem like a long time, especially if you guys are really close. But a year is also like the kind of friendship that like dissolves after a year and you were friends like really close for just a year. Like I've had a lot of those. It's only 2 weeks. You've only waited 2 weeks. I think just hang out less. You know, you can hang out less, and if distance brings fondness and you miss her, you can be like, hey girl, what you doing? You're allowed to change. You're allowed to grow out of people. Good quote, good BoJack Horseman quote that says, well, it's not BoJack actually, it's Diane or Diana, whatever her name is, the girl in BoJack Horseman. She says in like the last episode, I think she's moving away or something. Like they're like the series is ending and they're going through life changes and they're not gonna really see each other again. And she tells BoJack, they're sitting on the roof, and she tells him, I think there are people that help you become the person that you end up being, and you can be grateful for them, even if they were never meant to be in your life forever. I love that line. I love that line. I should have put that in the quotes video last week. But it's, yeah. I think there are people who are going to enter your life that aren't going to stay there forever. That's like 90% of people who you know in your life. And that's fine. You know, you're 18, you're about to go to college. You'll probably grow apart from this person in college, you know, especially if you guys aren't at the same school or whatever. But, like, you don't need to make it a big deal, especially if she did nothing. Just, like, kind of drift away, answer a little less, make plans less. Eventually, like that, she'll fill that void with someone else. All right, next. Oh my God, I have the stuffiest nose. Dear Diary, I'm currently choosing where to do my master's, and until now I was set on a university in Scotland, since 1, the course really interests me, 2, the university is well ranked, 3, I am just finishing my undergrad in London, so could really do with a more quiet and peaceful place to study, and Scotland is so beautiful. I was a little hesitant since my family lives in the south of England, so it doesn't really get further than that in the UK. But then turned out my sister, who I'm super, super close with, found the perfect master's for her in the same city in Scotland. And I also have really good friends studying in nearby cities, so I was really excited about being close to them all. However, since then, I found like the perfect master's in the southwest of England. So not just super far from my sister, but also like a 4-hour train ride from my parents. The thing is that the course is so perfectly specialized in exactly what I want to do in the future that it honestly feels like a weird sign to do that course instead. And then maybe that's me making it deep, I don't know. I get this weird gut feeling about how perfect the course is for me, and I just can't decide where to go. Really appreciate the pod and all the content you make. Thank you. Thanks, I try with the pod. It's not a big deal, you guys. Relax. Just rate it 5 stars on Spotify. Thanks. Okay, listen. I feel like I would have been in a situation like this if I had finished applying to all the master's programs I wanted to apply to, but I just applied to Vienna and stopped. Because there was a program in Amsterdam that was literally like they made it for me. It was about the film industry mixed with IT. So it was like I could easily have gotten into there. And because my bachelor's was IT, and I'm all interested in videos and the metrics behind it and how to like keep people's attention while telling the story, you know. it was literally like the description of this major was so cool. It was like the University of Amsterdam or something. I never ended up applying to it, but I feel like I could have gotten in. I feel like I would have. And I also wanted to apply to some schools in the US. So I can't really tell you what to pick, but I can kind of like try to frame it easier for you. Okay. I think you'll learn a lot about yourself. The same way I moved across the world, that I'm learning a lot about myself because I'm in Vienna by myself and I don't have any like common people that I remember. I know, like I don't have like your sister wouldn't be with you if you go to this perfect program. Your nearby friends wouldn't be with you. But because of that, you'll be forced outside your comfort zone, especially in a place where you're doing the perfect program for you, like you're saying. And in a place where ambition will become the forefront of your mind if you go to that school because you won't have any distractions, at least for a little while, and you'll want to make connections within your major, and like I think you'll really gain a lot from that. But also, if you are you said you're super close with your sister, if you want that sense of stability and safety in having your sister there and someone to talk to and someone to vent to, that's good too. And also in the long term, 4 hour train ride from your parents is not that bad. It's not that bad. For me, if I want to see my parents, it's a 16-hour flight with a layover somewhere along the way. Like you can go see them on a weekend. Maybe you take the train one morning early and you just see them for a couple days and go back. I don't know. It's really up to you and your personal preferences and your level of ambition, I'd say, like towards this thing. How bad do you want to, like, what long term do you think after these programs you will be in a better place? Like, do you think you'll be in drastically different places career wise or whatever you want to do after if you pick one over the other? If so, and that's important to you that you're in one or the other years from now, then I'd say go with the one that you want the future to look like. Don't look at it just as this program. Look at it where it'll likely lead you to in the next 5 years, All right, I feel like I've said enough about that. I just graduated high school and I've never felt more scared. I knew exactly what I wanted, but my grades didn't match, and now I'm stuck trying to figure out other options I never even considered, and I have very limited time to decide. It's embarrassing because my whole life I was so confident that I'd get into this career path. My parents want me to go into engineering because it's the safe option, but I know I'd be terrible at it. I want to actually be good at what I'm doing, not just tolerate it. That's a hard line. That's a pretty hard line. I want to be actually good at what I'm doing, not just tolerate it. Sorry. And I don't want to just pick something random because I'm rushed and I don't have the financial chance to try it for a while and go back. Lol, love you, dude. I know I read the end like a frat guy. Lol, love you, dude. Lol, love you, dude. Make sure you pull up to the Kappa Sig party on Friday. It's funny you guys are always... You guys always ask me questions about higher education. Like, I'm not even like a study abroad channel. I don't know. It's just funny. Like, I don't even make school content about, like, day in my life at school, It's just funny because of the whole Vienna thing. I've suddenly become this spokesperson for studying for higher education. That's weird. Dang. All right. Sorry. Let's talk about it. Listen, I don't know how it works where you live, but in the US, most schools for the first couple of years, like for me, it was 2 years of my bachelor's. You're about to go into your bachelor's. First 2 years of my bachelor's, I was mostly, for the most part, without like maybe one class exception, I was taking general courses that like, yeah, I picked a major, but me and all the other majors are all taking the same classes for the first 2 years before we start taking specific courses related to our major. And changing your major is not that hard. So if I were you, I would pick the most general thing. You said I don't want to pick something random because I'm rushed and I don't have the financial chance to try it for a while and go back. You probably won't have to go back. You probably will have some downtime. A lot of people go into college without really knowing what they want. Some universities have like a major that's called like I forget what it's called, like it's a word that's like, yeah, an unsure major, like it's not set in stone. You just take general courses and then you pick your specific major when it becomes that time to get those classes. I changed my major twice in college and I still graduated on time. I don't think I wasted any money. I just, because I changed it over I did the two major changes in my first 2 years So I was still taking general courses. For example, I started off as mechanical engineering, and then I switched out of that after a semester and went to psychology slash neuroscience. And then after that, I switched from that to IT. I should have just stuck with psychology, honestly. That'd be a cool major, whatever. Um, I'd say just pick something general as you can, but as close as you can guess to what you like, and you'll probably be able to change majors. And pro tip, maybe if you know what school you're likely gonna want to end up in, like what maybe like an engineering school, a brain science school, like that your university has different schools in it, the business school, blah 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 blah. You know, try to pick a general major in that school where it has very general courses for the first 2 years. You can usually look up a degree plan. Uh, yeah. And then you can decide on your major later. You don't have to have it all figured out right now. All right. I live for being a night owl. It's embedded in my soul. But recently, I've had way too many things I need to wake up early for, and they're all going to last a while. So that also means I have to sleep early. Angry face. But most days I'm working till late. So I also go through my days, sleep deprived and half aware, and then I can't embark on my healing night owl rituals. I don't know if you can help me with this, to be honest. You could either get a different job that you don't have to work late or change your hours or something. I like waking up early and I like staying up late. So it's always a struggle for me. I end up on 6 hours of sleep like every day just because I'm like, yeah, I'm waking up at 8 tomorrow, no matter what, because I like waking up at 8 like I did today. But I stayed up too late last night. I went to bed at like 2, so I slept 6 hours, and I literally can't function on 6 hours of sleep. I'm just dumb, and I just keep doing it. Sorry, this isn't about me. This is about you. I just love talking about myself. If you couldn't tell, I made a whole podcast about it. Yeah, I can't really help you with that, but you can try to just get a new job, bro. I don't know. I don't have enough context about what you do. Like, what if you're like a brain surgeon? You have an amazing job. I'm just imagining like you work at a cafe or something, or like a restaurant. You're like a waitress. That's my in my brain. And I'm like, just get a different job. Like, it's not that deep. Your job is not that deep. Unless you're a brain surgeon, then like low key stay in that job and just start waking up early. Sacrifice your night owl routine. I'm sorry. Try doing things in the morning time. Wake up early. Sleep as soon as you get home from work. Wake up early and try that. Like maybe you're a morning person. You just haven't given it the proper chance. You know? The world is amazing in the morning too. Sorry, I wish I could help. I just liked how you wrote that, so I wanted to read it. It's hard watching my little sister grow up and start to change. She's going through her stereotypical, kind of boring teenage girl era, and she doesn't want to spend a lot of time with me slash family, and her attitude is changing. I went through similar stuff, so I know what she's going through, and I know it's something she needs to experience on her own, but sometimes it's so hard to deal with the fact that she's never going to be the same crazy, goofy girl she was when we were little. I miss my baby sister and miss being really close to her. I feel like we're so different now, and she doesn't really look up to me or want to hang out with me like she used to. That was such a sweet message. That's so sweet. But I want to, like, I also have a little sister, and I've watched her get older. And in my experience, what did you say? You said, it's hard to deal with the fact she's never going to be the same girl she was when we were little. I don't think that's true. I think she's just entering her stereotypical kind of girl, kind of boring teenage girl era, and that happens to everyone. Same thing happens to guys. Uh, Kind of boring teenage boy era, like it happens no matter who you are. You just enter this awkward middle phase, and that's where you lose your identity. You strip it back and put up these walls to seem just like everyone else, to fit in and try to make friends. Once you make friends, you realize most of them are fake, and then you meet some people who you don't think are fake and actually act like you used to act. And you're like, oh wow, this is my crowd. And then you start putting up your real walls again. You knock down the fake ones, and you become you again. I feel like that's the cycle everyone goes through when they're at that age. And that happened with my little sister, I think. She was kind of annoying to talk to for a few years, but recently she's in like 10th grade now. She's like high schooler. She's like low key cooler than me. My little sister's like so cool now. And I love talking to her. And I miss her so much. And people revert back to who they were when they were younger, but just older and more matured, you know? So you didn't lose your sister. And you're right about you. It's just something she needs to experience on her own, because everyone has that, and you can keep making an effort. Like she might not look up to the way she did when she was a little kid and didn't know more about the world, but that's just the way things go, and you'll find new amazing parts of your relationship because of that. Once she's out of the awkward middle phase, you guys will just be able to talk about more mature things and like have serious conversations, and your relationship will, it just gets better, you know? Like you understand different aspects of this person, and getting older with siblings is so sweet. It is. I've always been very thankful that I'm not an only child, because that would suck. I'm sorry to any only childs watching this. I feel bad for you because having siblings is really, really nice, and it gives you someone you know will always understand you. You know. So never fear. She'll grow out of it, and we will all cheer. Just made a little rhyme for you. Next, I've been playing piano for 8-ish years, and I really love it. I have a digital piano at home. It's pretty good. I'm not really complaining about it. But I really want a real piano just because they feel so much nicer and their sound is so much more fulfilling and beautiful. But they are really expensive. I don't mind getting a used one, but they're also kind of pricey. I don't know if I should ask my parents if they'd consider buying one or if it's even worth it, because I'll just kind of feel bad. That's so cool. By the way, I've always wished I could play an instrument. I want to play an instrument so bad. I want to learn piano and guitar. If I learned piano and guitar, oh my God. Oh my God. The ladies would be all over me, man. The ladies would be everywhere. If I could play piano or guitar, man. Man, you're so cool for that. Sorry, I got distracted. But they are really expensive. That is true. You know, you have your digital one. I'd say ask your parents, because, like, just see what they say. The answer is always no until you ask. I live by that line. The answer is always no till you ask. So just ask and see if they're down. Because, like, I feel like my mom would buy a piano just because, like, it's such a, like, classy thing to have. You know, like, have a piano chilling in the corner. Like, okay, I see you. People come over. Oh, you guys have a piano. It's like, I feel like that's like the kind of thing parents would like. I don't know. I'm not a parent. But if not, you just hold on to that dream. Write it down in your bucket list. Buy one in your house when you're older. Get a piano then. But yeah, definitely ask. At least ask. Can't hurt. And I think that's all the questions for this week. Make sure to submit your own entries in the bottom in the description under this video. There's the link to the Google form. It's completely anonymous. Thank you guys so much for watching. Next week's episode just came out on Patreon, as this episode came out on YouTube and Spotify. And that's about it. Thank you so much for being here. And I will see you on the frickin' flip side, baby. Please subscribe.
Yeah, you've got a friend.